Here we go. The story of my first flat tire. I'm actually in my garage. I'm sitting on tires and I'm holding my mountain bike tire because my mountain bike is in my car. It needs to go in for a tune-up. That's not what this story is about. The takeaway actually from this story, from my first flat tire, is that while I don't consider myself to be a lucky person, the type of person that gets lucky breaks, that has a lot of good things out of nowhere happen to them, I'm not that person. However, my first flat tire story makes me realize that I might be lucky in a different way. So there's being lucky in having a lot of good things happen to you, and I think there's being lucky in never having, or very rarely having, bad things happen to you. So I'm 43 years old. I've driven across the US at least half a dozen times. I drove across all of Canada over a summer. It was over a 3-month period. And I've driven all over Europe. That is to say that I've spent a lot of time in the car and I've put on a lot of mileage over very long distances. And I've never gotten a flat tire on my car, on any vehicles driven on the road. So car, truck, any of that. However, I have gotten flat tires on my bike. But I've also gotten very lucky in that respect as well. So when I went out and I bought my first mountain bike and started hitting the trails, I realized I should know how to change a bike tire, or it's really the tube. I mean, some of the tires might go bad, but it's ultimately, if you get it flat, it's because something penetrated and pierced your tube. So I thought I should know how to do that. So I was in Germany at the time, and Master Guardian Sergeant Ward, Rob Ward, is the reason why I got the mountain bike in the first place. So I got with him, I said, hey, can you teach me how to change my tire? So he gave me a class, and not just a class showing me, but it's like, okay, now you do it. So I did it. And I felt confident as I started riding my bike that and I always had a spare tube in my Camelback, that if I needed to, I would be fine changing my tire. Well, now fast forward a few years, and I've been riding my bike all over the place. I mean, all over the place. Miles, hundreds of miles of mountain biking. I took a couple of years where I was traveling that epic trip across Canada, and I'm mountain biking all over the place. Never got a flat tire. Then I settle in Grand Junction, Colorado. And I'm riding, there's a lot of great mountain biking in Colorado and in Junction and Fruita. So I'm out one day, and again, I'm mountain biking. And I started losing air pressure in my tire. So it wasn't like a big flat out flat, but it was clear that I was losing air pressure. So I was able to make it back to the parking lot, not a problem. Later that day, the tire was flat. So it was clear I had a flat tire. Now, in that part of Colorado, so it's Desert Lake, there's a lot of pins, like little pricks, that the cactus, the different vegetation that's out there. So, and that ends up, out on the trails. So that's what I got in my tire. So I'm like, not a problem. I was taught how to change a tire. So I got the wheel off, and getting the actual tire off, extremely difficult, but I managed to get that. So now I got that out, and I got the tube, and so I get rid of the other tube. Now I got the new tube, and I'm putting it in, and I don't know what to do. Like, so the tube is in, there's the loose tire around it, and I'm like, how part of the tube was sticking out. I'm like, what? I don't remember it being that way. So I ended up having to call a friend to come help me fix my flat my on my bike. And then it hit me. Oh wow. What this entire time I was out mountain biking, in very isolated places, very far from my car, from parking lots, from any other human beings, with a spare tube and a pump, a hand pump, with the understanding I would know how to change a tire if something had happened to me. And in reality, I actually did not know how to properly change a tire. So that's where I'm like, I might just be lucky. So God was watching over me. And when I did get a flat, I was close to my vehicle. It was no big deal. And I was able to get help to get a change. The next time I got a flat tire on my bike, there's also a story. There's a funny story attached to that as well. But I will share that another day. So that's the story of my first flat tire. I want to thank Brianna Daniels for sharing her story of her first flat tire. I think it's really awesome, her accomplishment in becoming the first Black woman to be on a NASCAR crew pit. So that's really awesome. So thank you for the cameo for doing that. Now it is your turn to share your story. Don't forget to post it on YouTube like me, or you can post it on Vimeo, and then head over to the First Time Story map at ftsprompt.firsttimestorytelling.com and post your story there so people can discover it, listen to it, and get to know more about you through your first time stories.